Hi, I'm Sam and this is Zhao Cai. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do something different. I had painted a page from one of these watercolour bookmark sets, and we will be talking about how I got my formal ADHD diagnosis as an adult in Singapore, also known as the time I took a ride on the carousel of medical hell. Funny story. I only have the covers left. I had already given away all the bookmarks to my students before I decided to film this. I know, right? I'm such a genius planner. But I bought a new set to show you guys as an example. Each set comes with a brush and 12 designs. You can add water to the palettes at the side and just start painting anywhere with a table and a cup of water. Okay, this is not a sponsored post. I just love these. It's a super cute idea and a little fun art project. I will be making some changes to the design, so I'm mainly using poster color paint. There are also step-by-step instructions, so you can follow along if you want. Now, on to the story. I grew up in Singapore in the 90s, where mental health was pretty much black and white. You were either completely normal, or so far gone that you need to be locked up in a mental asylum. I didn't get clued into ADHD until I was 27, and it came about in the most unexpected way. One of my students was diagnosed with ADHD, so I wanted to do good by the kid and do some research on the topic. And wow, when I dived into it, you know those Myers-Briggs and Enneagram online personality tests? I was big into those back in the day, but none of it was as accurate for me as the ADHD symptoms. The forgetfulness, lack of organization, procrastination, poor impulse control. On and on it went, and I was starting to have a come to Jesus moment about my connection with this disorder. I very likely have ADHD. And this weird mix of grief and relief washed over me when I realized. There was grief for what I could have achieved with my life if I had known sooner, and relief that there might be a term and a path for overcoming it. So, determined to get a formal diagnosis, I set out on a quest to IMH, short for the Institute of Mental Health. I learned that if I went there directly, I would have to fork out at least $100 just for a consultation. But if I got a referral from a GP at a polyclinic, it would be subsidized to around $40. It's fair enough. You want to make sure that the people that go to the specialist clinics actually need their services. I get it. So off I went to the polyclinic near my flat. Man, after so many years, I can still remember vividly how unpleasant the experience was. When I asked the doctor to give me a referral to IMH for ADHD, he laughed. He actually laughed at me. And then he said, "Have you seen children with ADHD?" Already in my mind, I knew that this wasn't going well. But I replied, "Yeah, I have." And then he continued, "So you know that they cannot sit still in their seats, right?" Oh my god, this guy was so misinformed. First, I was clearly no longer a child. Who knows, maybe he thought I looked young. But that's just my wishful thinking, because one of the myths of ADHD is that it doesn't persist into adulthood. And secondly, even when I was a child, I was undiagnosed throughout my childhood because girls with ADHD generally don't have the same symptoms as boys with ADHD. And because of that, most of us don't get diagnosed. I was just seen as a lazy and unmotivated child. Now, if only I was this eloquent when I am unscripted and not in front of a mic. All I could do was double down and try to explain my symptoms. Thankfully, he kind of relented and told me that I probably just have anxiety or depression, which, fun fact, most women with ADHD are misdiagnosed with. I left the clinic with a bad taste in my mouth and an appointment in 2 weeks with their in-house psychologist. Fueled by anger and pure desperation, I listed down all my symptoms in capital letters on a red piece of paper and downloaded a Intro to Adult ADHD video onto my laptop. When the day of the appointment arrived, I was fully prepared to go to war for my diagnosis. The psychologist was a young guy in his 20s this time. He just looked through my list, even asked to photocopy it for reference, I guess. I didn't even get to show him my war video and he already believed me. It was gratifying yet mildly disappointing at how smooth it was going. The part of me that got humiliated by the previous doctor really wanted to be able to convince him and change his mind with the war video like an expert. But of course, it wouldn't make a good story if everything was smooth sailing, right? The psychologist said that I will have to be referred to a psychiatrist because a psychologist cannot prescribe medication like a psychiatrist can. Okay, I didn't know that. Refer me to a psychiatrist then? Except he couldn't do that because only the GP, not the psychologist, has the power to send that referral letter. Why? Why doesn't the psychologist, who is definitely more educated on mental health issues, have the authority to send people to mental health institutes? Putting that aside, why do I have to schedule yet another appointment to see yet another random GP even though all the doctors are in the same building for something that would take them 10 minutes to do? Again, the cowardly me wasn't able to articulate that on the spot. So I got a GP appointment scheduled for yet another 2 weeks later. And on that day, as expected, the consultation ended in less than 10 minutes for a referral appointment in yet another month. So all in all, I spent 2 months going from GP to psychologist to GP just to get a chance to get diagnosed because the first guy was misinformed and the system sucked. The best part is, when I got to IMH, I didn't even get a diagnosis. The medical officer just took my word for it and I got my first Concerta prescription. I know that because I only got to do a DSM-5 written diagnostic test many appointments later, while all the while getting medicated with restricted stimulant medications. I'm not going to talk about it here in this video because that's yet another saga spanning years, and I'll legit have to get my medical report from my current doctor to even sort through the sequence of all the crazy incidents, including that one time one doctor told me I shouldn't go back to university because I have ADHD. Yeah, you heard me right. I wish I was exaggerating. Now, bear in mind that my story is from almost 10 years ago, and a lot of things might have improved and changed since then. I still got the help I needed eventually, and medication really improved my quality of life. Just like making art I love, like this completed bookmark. Share this video if you think it might be helpful for someone trying to get diagnosed. Please also give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and comment below on what you like and what you want to see more of. It really helps me out and keeps the channel growing. We're on a mission to hit 500 subscribers and I'd love your support to get there. Let me know if you would like to learn more, be it about art or ADHD. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Remember to always follow your joy. Bye bye. Alright, unboxing. This is my reward for finishing the video. Ooh. I think I got the Ferris wheel. Bye for real now.